I once had I I once I in the past in the past before now before I'm letting this, like the clock is ticking, right? And I'm imagining that I can edit this. I can't edit my life, but I can edit this. I can, and I have. Just start where I want and say, here, look at my existence, look at my life, but just this subset of it where I succeeded. Well, that kind of feels like lying, doesn't it? I'm not giving it all to you. Don't you want to get everything? Don't you want to, like, and shouldn't I? That's a curious conundrum. Here, you know, I'm moving slowly, and I'm calm enough. I don't feel like a sense of urgency, and good things can come from that, no doubt. I'm staring to my lower right as opposed to right into the camera lens because I don't want to be distracted by you, whoever you are. That's crazy. That's a whole other subject. But anyway, I'm staring to my lower right and it's just looking across the room, and it's I'm thinking, are you looking into the cobwebs in your mind? Just, you know, emptiness and no meaning in there? Perhaps. Perhaps. You know, sometimes looking right at the lens is a little bit like looking in the mirror, which can be distracting. You know, it's like there's too many reverberations. Like, is it me? Is it the reflection of me? And you know, I'm looking at my phone and it's videotaping myself. So even though the lens is there, you know, there's an image of me there. So it is a lot like looking in the mirror. I'm not exactly sure why, but this feels more pure than much of the chattering I've done today up until now. I don't want to analyze it now because I don't want to ruin it. Pure, like clear water flowing. But the water is, it's a step up in viscosity from water. It's like maybe halfway to mineral oil, right? No fragrance, but like thicker than water. And a movement. So when the water, let's say it drops, if there were little waterfalls, I'm imagining like a stream or, up in the mountains, if there's a waterfall and the water drops, it doesn't make a lot of noise because it's a little more viscous. That would be an interesting setup, just to hear the sound of oil falling. That would be interesting, like an auditory experiment. I almost want to go on record as saying there's something delicious about this. It's August 8th, 2019. I feel healthy. It's late afternoon. I'm going out with friends and with Wynn this evening. I'm clean. I took a shower. And I'm not in a rush. It's almost like the what's the word? The fact that I can accept a slower pace. And I am comfortable with discrete sections of this that's happening right now. Those discrete sections they're what am I trying to say here? I imagine them as, I'm looking at it kind of like on a timeline, and it's like, oh, there's a 5-second chunk. There's a 7-second chunk. They're like chunks of ideas and movement and sound and language throughout me talking now and me thinking now. And the fact that there are these discrete chunks that make up whatever 5 or 10 minutes this little video is, it's very hard for me to describe, and I don't know why, but it's analogous to my experience of being, enjoying and being in a very dense fog, which is not uncommon in San Francisco. It's where the fog is so thick, and not like a cold, windy fog, but just where the fog is hanging and you're there, and you're comfortable, you're whatever, you're dressed appropriate, and you're not soaking wet, but it's almost like there are chunks of atmosphere in front of you, chunks of space, like it's so that the fog is so thick you can barely see across the street, and so. It's like the space right around you becomes meaningful. Whereas when there's no fog, you're like, who cares? Like, 6 feet in front of me, 10 feet, 30 feet, 40 feet, to all the way to the other side of the, down the block. When it's clear out, it's like big deal. You can see straight through. But when the fog is there, I'm aware of this, like discrete chunks of the atmosphere. It's like the atmosphere becomes palpable. And I think what I'm trying to say now is that, in this little, video performance right now, it's like the time is palpable. The time in between, the time of the concepts and words, as well as the time, the pauses, they all, they work for me, and I hope they work for you.